This is a video response to thought experiments for atheists. This is symbolic in San Francisco. This is a great thought experiment. I love this because I really don't think there would be a way to prove, for God to prove that He is God. Because as you point out, whatever this God would do, or whatever this entity would do, there would always remain the possibility that He is a superior being rather than rather than the supreme being, and He could always be the supreme devil, a devil seeking to fool us. And then there are the other possibilities that you point out, that it could be a drug experiment. I mean, it could be drugs. It could be something like that. So I really don't think there is a way. I like that the two people have responded so far saying that he could prove he was God by simply flipping the belief switch in them and making them believe that he's God. You know that, or you could say also flip the proof switch and thereby proving to you that he was God by flipping the proof switch. I think those are good solutions. Those are the best I can think of. Um, I mean, how many? It would take more than one miracle for me, I think, if I were to go by miracles, the little stepping ladder of miracles. I don't know. Pharaoh had 10, right? Ten plagues didn't convince Pharaoh, and those were pretty big. So I don't know. I think if I were to try to if he were to say, look, I'm going to try to convince you by miracles, what would it take? I, the best one I could think of is if he were able to snap his fingers and obliterate the entire universe, except for um, him and me. If he could obliterate the entire universe and then snap it back into existence again, I would then I would be faced with the question: okay, now could a mere superior being, not a supreme being, but could a mere superior being obliterate the entire universe? But I'd have to be able to verify that it was the entire universe, so I don't know. So it might take that miracle, plus it might take something like in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna reveals his universal form, and it is so overwhelming and so all-encompassing of all aspects of deaths, destructions, world, universes pouring in and out. It was so awesome that it was also amazing. But once again, I can't seem to get around these possibilities you brought up, that it could be just a superior being, and of course it could be a demon trying to fool me. But I always say the closest I could get is he'd have to obliterate the entire universe out of existence, and somehow be able. I would somehow have to be able to verify that it wasn't just my local area that was obliterated. Uh, Maybe he could come up with a mathematical proof of his own existence too. That would help. Though he'd probably have to obliterate mathematics too. Um, yeah, that's great. So the question I wonder is, how come all these prophets were convinced that they had met or seen God? I mean, what led Moses to believe that? I mean, all he saw was a burning bush, right? Something in the burning bush. Um, what led him to be so sure? Mohammed, what led him to be so sure? At first, Mohammed, I don't think, was sure. I think he went back, he thought he was crazy. He had to talk about it with his wife and a few other people, and they kind of persuaded him, I think, that he wasn't crazy. But actually, he had a pretty rational response to it, by at first thinking, maybe I'm crazy, but what eventually led him to believe that it was really God who was communicating with him? Because I really can't imagine being absolutely sure. So great thought experiment. Thank you very much.